Hi, everyone. Welcome. Guess what? It's Monday. I'm Mia Voss. That's Joel McDonald. Hi, Joel.
Hey, Mia. How are you?
I am great. I'm excited about CCROI. Very snappy. I'm sure it's going to be good.
Fun topic. That's
Okay.
that's what the Jagu way is all about.
Man, every week you come in with all these fun little bon mots of information. So here we go. Let's do some housekeeping real quick. We'll see if we have some comments. So please comment. We love to see those. And of course, as always, I say go to streamyard.com/Facebook. If we can't see your name, now you may see it in the actual stream, but we may not be able to see it. So we'd love to be able to see your beautiful face and your comments. I don't see any yet, but I know we have a lot of our experts that are lurking. So I'm going to look at Dana,
Sometimes it's a
winner.
little slow.
It's okay. Hi, Dana. Hi from Cleveland. Thank you. Yeah, please comment. Tell us where you are from. Maybe tell us what your bucket list is. Hi, Brooke. I knew Brooke from above would be there. So Brooke is here. We have, again, our experts. So even if we don't get to some of your questions or comments, a lot of our experts will be answering them. And also, if you come in a little bit late, which you're here right now, there will be a replay as soon as we are done. So don't worry. I always say it every week. I have to watch things twice.
Repetition is good.
It is. So this person, hi, Sarasota, Florida. If you could go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give it permission, that would be excellent. That we could see it. Joe from below, just save so now we can see his beautiful face. And Anthony is also one of our experts as well, too. Good afternoon to you as well. So yes, we are here. It's Jagut Village. Free community where we teach anyone, and we mean anyone, the basics of how to travel anywhere in the world for free. So for free. And sometimes, there's free and then there's even getting paid to be free. And that's what we talk about every week. Free is not it's not a static description, is it, Joel?
No, well, it's funny you say that because I would say 95, if not 98% of people earn points. They're familiar with the game. You get points instead of cash back, and you get free stuff. But the thing is, today I'm going to actually show you how $1,000 earns 95 to 95% of the population $20 in cash back or free flights or whatever. And after you spend $50 or $100,000, you collect enough for maybe a free flight. But I'm going to show you today one specific example, one specific purchase without sign-up bonuses, without any of that crazy credit card juggling stuff, can get you, instead of $20 in cash back, up to $2,000 worth of free flights for the same $1,000. And so anytime, like when you hear some of us say, no, don't take a statement credit, don't do cash back, it's because you're literally cashing points out for pennies on the dollar, literally. And we're going to show you specific examples today and why it's so important to learn these concepts that I like to call CCROI, or credit card ROI. You want to improve that ROI on your credit card expense.
We had a comment last week. I remember Joe talking about how it was Amazon Prime Day and people were commenting in other groups, not our group. Use your Amex points, and it just when you know, and then you sort of melt inside like that little emoji that's the melty face now, and that's how you feel about it. Speaking of melting, Carrie's here. He says it's 117 in Las Vegas.
Hey, Carrie.
Ooh, stay frosty, my friend. Just have to tell you. So we have a lot of comments here, but yay! All right, you ready? Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it. So last week we talked about, how to go from beginner to intermediate to advanced to ninja level. We're going to kind of do a part 2 of that. And the way we do that is through learning to get better at credit card ROI. And like I said, most people earn 2%, and they think they're hot shots if they get 3%. And, and typically the more people spend, the more they think they're really good at this, and they're not good at it. They're just good at spending lots of money, which earns lots of points. But that's not where the magic is. The magic is in earning as much free stuff for as few dollars spent on credit cards as possible. So we're going to dive into one specific example, and hopefully this will make it a lot more clear on what credit card ROI actually means. And so today, a lot of times I try to include real life testimonials from clients who are traveling in the past couple weeks to go with the lessons that we teach. Today, no testimonials, screenshots, and real life examples. So the disclaimer with that is if you're watching the replay, they may have changed. But the whole point of this is these deals are out there every day. You just have to have strategies to go find them. So let's talk about the definition of credit card ROI. I get to define it because I made the term up. It doesn't exist. You can't Google it. It's our own JGoot philosophy. And that basically means, what is your return on investment? How much do you spend per year typically on credit cards? And how much do you get in free stuff? Most people get 2, maybe 3% back, whether that's cash back, statement credits, gift cards, free stuff on Amazon, free flights, free hotels. Who cares? 2 to 3% is what 95%, if not 98% of the human population that uses credit cards gets. And I like to call that credit card return on investment. Why? Because it can be 5 or 10 or 20 times that with just a few different strategies. So rather than talking about like overall average spend and making you become an accountant and figure out how much you're spending in a year, and then figuring out how much stuff you get for free in a year, that can be very overwhelming, especially if you get really good at this, like some of our coaches who book 10 to 20 free flights a year. So we're going to talk about just like zero this in on one transaction and show you how you can take one transaction and instead of settling for $1,000 purchase and getting $20 in cash back, 2%, you can get as much as $2,000 in free flights or hotels. So in other words, it is possible to earn more in free flights than what you spend on credit cards. Those are the exceptions, not the rule. That's once you get really good at this, but we're going to break it down and show beginner levels, intermediate levels, advanced levels, and ninja level strategies that you can use. So you've seen this chart before. This, by the way, is going to be something that we're focusing on in our boot camp, travel boot camp in a couple weeks. We're going to show beginners how to get to the intermediate level. If you're already at the intermediate level in our weekend boot camp, we're going to show you strategies to get to the advanced level. Of course, if you're already advanced, you will have the skills to be able to get to ninja level. And we'll have dozens of members and coaches who are already at the ninja level. So you can go to lunch with them, have drinks with them, pick their brains, figure out what they're doing that's working. Or you can just watch this free webinar and try to implement it yourself. So
I have down here at the bottom, comment event. That's what Joel was just mentioning. So comment event, and we'll send you information on that. It's what, 2 weeks away, Joel? 2.5 weeks away?
Yeah. Friday will mark three weeks. So yeah, 2.5 weeks away.
Comment event will get
This
you
past
information.
Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. So 90, I am willing to bet that 95% of the human population is at this beginner level. Those who think they're more advanced are usually just people who spend a lot more money. They're not necessarily advanced. They just happen to have the luxury of spending lots of money, which earns them lots of points. But typically, the more they spend, the sloppier they get with what they're earning. And we're going to show you how teachers, realtors, hairstylists, accountants, all sorts of regular people earning regular incomes can book far more free travel than people spending $500,000 a year and earning, 500,000 or 1 million points a year. So that's what most people get. For example, if you're at the beginner level, for every $10,000 you spend, if you've got a cash back card, that's $20 in cash back. And I'm sorry, I'm missing a zero here. That would be, let me just do the math real quick. Yeah, that would, I initially did this as 1,000. So I'm sorry, that's $200 for every $10,000 that you spend. If you get 10% credit card ROI, that means you're getting $1,000 in free hotels. That's, hotels is kind of the next level. We talk about that in our book in the point hedging 201 section. We show you how to just redeem your points for hotels instead of cash back or gift cards. And it is possible to get 10% of what you spend back in the form of free hotels. If you get a little better, get good at finding good deals on flights, that's a little more advanced. It's entirely possible to get 25% of what you get back with advanced level skills. So for every 10,000 you spend, and I do apologize, there's a zero missing, that would be 2,500 in free flights. I'll come back and show you specific examples. And then, of course, you get to the ninja level. This is where you're getting 50 cents back. So if you spend $10,000 on credit cards, you're getting $5,000 in free flights, free hotels back in your pocket. We've called this a travel slush fund. You're just earning a lot more points. You're redeeming them more efficiently to travel however you like and offset those hotel and airline expenses, which are typically the majority of most people's vacations. So some beginner examples of this. Business credit cards that earn 2% cash back. We get a lot of people that think 2% is the best they can do. And in fact, that's below average for beginners. Our definition of a beginner is someone who gets 0 to 5% of every dollar they spend back in the form of free stuff. That could also be people that earn 2 points. So we get a lot of people who love their Capital One card. But the problem with Capital One is you're stuck at 2%. We're going to show you later where, yeah, that's fine. You can get 2% on every dollar you spend. But there are times where you can get 25 points per dollar or 50 points per dollar. And it just takes a handful of those types of transactions to way outperform a Capital One card or a Costco card or a Discover card or a Bank of America card that only gets a fixed 2% on every dollar you spend. Another example, this is a little more complicated. Another example is people that have a card that earns 1.5 points for every dollar they spend, and they can redeem those for 1.5 cents for every dollar or every point that they redeem. You take those two and you multiply them together. That's where we're getting into this credit card ROI strategy. You're earning 1.5 points for every dollar. You're redeeming them for 1.5 cents per point. That turns into a 2.25% ROI. Not bad. I mean, that's better than 1% cash back. It's even better than 2% cash back. But for most people, that's not even worth the trouble. They're going to stick with their 2% cash back card. And if the opportunities were limited to that, I'd have no argument. Sure, stick with your 2%, throw it in a mutual fund, let it grow. And if you invested at 10% every 7 years, it will double in value. We'll show you how to tenfold it in value by next week. So one last example, a card that earns one point for every dollar, but you get 3x on gas, 3x on groceries, 3x on travel, 5x on travel. Those are great, but those expenses only represent 5 or 10% of your overall spend. So even if you're really good at that and you obsess over using the blue card for gas and the gold card for groceries or whatever, then you might get to 3 or 4%, but that's still not where the magic is. The magic is earning as many points as possible with every dollar you spend, at which can be 5 or 10 points per dollar once you start to get good at this, and then redeeming those points for as many dollars as possible per point spent. Those two multiplied together are what turn into credit card ROI. And it's entirely possible if you spend, for every 100,000 you spend, if you get 10% back, that's 10 grand in free travels. If you get good at this and get 25% back, that's 25 grand in free travels from just same money spent. You just get better at it. So on average, beginners typically get 15 to 50 bucks for every 1,000 spent, 150 to 500 for every 10,000 spent. Pick your level, pick your spending level and apply the math. This is typically beginner level stuff. Notice that I asterisked this last one. If you spend $1 million, there is something called diminishing returns. People who spend $1 million a year probably aren't bending over backwards to go and find out how to get 25x on their tires. So just keep that in mind. But all the same principles apply whether you're spending 10 grand a year on credit cards or 100 grand a year on credit cards.
Jill, I love this comment. I'm not sure who it is. Love this. Putting an actual formula to it instead of cocktail napkin math has changed the whole points game for me. Now I can take once in a lifetime trips every month just based on my normal spend, put on the right cards.
Amen.
Yes. I also like this. Cashback is such a hard habit to break.
And it feels responsible, especially if you're taking that cash back and being like Dave Ramsey and auto depositing it into mutual funds. But again, cash back at 2% will double even if you get 10%, it'll take you 7 years to double it. We're going to show you how to double it the second you get the points deposited, if not tenfold your points.
I believe that was Thomas saying that. So thanks for that comment, Thomas.
Lots of wisdom from Thomas. Thomas is one of our speakers at our conference that will be in early August. Can't wait to sit through that.
Me too. I'll be in the front with you.
So how do we get to the intermediate level? The bottom line is, at the beginner level, you got to have the right points. Cash back is cash back, and 2% will always be 2%. You can't convert it to being worth more. But if you get 2 points per dollar, you can convert that into more. I call it point flipping. You're earning, instead of earning $20 cash back, you get 2,000 points. You can turn that 2,000 points into exponentially more than $20. So beginner level, have the right card in your wallet, earn the right points, learn to earn more of them and redeem more of them down the road. So beginner, intermediate level, really what we're talking about is getting better at earning multipliers. That doesn't mean sign-up bonuses. That doesn't mean, obsessing over gas and grocery and 3x and 5x points. Those are nice. That's not necessarily where the money is. So let's pick one strategy from something that happened just last week that is available for the next several months if you are an Amex card owner. Remember, the Jagoot way, we say you don't need tons of cards. You don't need sign-up bonuses. Our whole philosophy says you don't need any sign-ups whatsoever, ever. You do need the right cards. At least one Chase card that earns ultimate rewards points, and at least one Amex card that earns membership rewards points. You can read all about it in our book. We won't go into it much more than that. So it's not about gas, groceries, dining, etc. It's not about getting 2x points on every purchase. That's nice, but it's child's play compared to what you'll learn to do with a more sustainable evergreen strategy. Not about sign-up bonuses. I'm here to tell you, once you have the right cards in your wallet, you can ignore all of those shiny objects that all of the bloggers are saying, oh, sign up now that, last chance you're going to get 100,000 points here or 150,000 points there. Who cares? This is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you want to go sign up for a bunch of cards, the Jagoot way is probably not for you. So it's not about sign-up bonuses. It's about finding opportunities where you can get 10 to 50, if not 95 points per dollar spent. Not on every purchase, but maybe one in every 20, one in every 30 purchases, you pick up those screaming deals that will pick up 10 to 90 times as many points. So, for example, last week, Amex announced that if you spend $1,000 or more with Carnival Cruises, you get 25,000 membership rewards points. I talk about this all the time. Sometimes it's a set of tires. Sometimes it's dining. I've given specific examples where Michelle and I paid for a free hotel night worth more than the dinner we went to. It's about just occasionally picking up these deals and picking up exponentially more points that you can do exponentially more with. So let's just say that I want to go on a cruise and I decide that I'm going to go on Carnival because of this, because 25,000 points is a lot. Now remember, beginner strategies, if I spend $1,000, that's $20 in cash back. No more, no less. in 7.2 years, if I invest that at 10%, that'll be $40 after 7 years. But if I spend $1,000 on Carnival Cruises and instead of cash back, take their offer and get 25,000 points, at the very least, I could do a terrible thing and take those points and cash them out for a statement credit and put $250 in my pocket. That's the simplest example of leveraging credit card return on investment. So I've got $1,000 that I spent on a cruise. And if I like cruises, it's probably a cruise I would have booked anyway. And I'm getting a $250 benefit. I'm getting 25,000 points. I'm cashing them out on a statement credit for a penny a piece. That's a 25% ROI. Plain and simple. So do you want your 2% cash back card, or do you want to pick up deals like this? And there are hundreds of them, possibly thousands of them that you will see. You don't have to do all of them. You have to do a few of them a year to be worth your while. So again, that's an example. This is like an intermediate level strategy. And by intermediate, we're no longer thinking about cash back. We're no longer thinking about gift cards or statement credits. We're thinking about earning points, earning the right points, and picking up deals through earning multipliers. We haven't even got good at redeeming the points yet. And you're putting 25% of that $1,000 that you spent back in your pocket, literally back in your pocket. So you just more than tenfolded your ROI compared to just basic strategies. Are you guys with me so far? Any questions that I should answer before we move on to like the next level, more advanced level stuff?
I don't see any questions per se. They're getting answered by the experts, which is always great. But I did comment throughout the comment here about Comment Calculator. That's a fun little tool that Joel put together as well. That is something you will have to, I'm going to say it, you're going to have to right click and download it because you can't use it if you just go to the link that we're going to send you. But it is a really, really great way to see what you're getting as far as savings, points for flights and hotels. You just have to make sure to put the taxes in, right, Joel?
Yep. Yeah. And so we haven't gotten there yet. We're just talking about taking cash back, but we're going to get into when you need to factor in taxes and so on. And in fact, you could also check out our ROI calculator and just type in CCROI. We'll actually show you how to make these calculations. So I don't see any questions so far. And again, this is not where we recommend stopping, but this is just to prove how simple it is to just change that mindset from, oh, well, I've always used a cashback card. Oh, well, I refuse to pay a fee for a card. This alone will cover, $100 in an annual fee from one purchase. How many thousands of purchases do people make a year on credit cards? So just think about that. Like, do you want to get the right card that can earn you thousands, if not tens of thousands in free travel and spend $100 a year on it? Or do you want to keep getting your zero fee card that's getting you, a couple $100 a year in cash back? And that's if you're spending a lot of money.
So we do have up here Comment Book, and that has a ton of the information that Joel's talking about as well. We'll send you a link to that. It's only $7. It's worth it. And then also comment CCROI to get that link that Joel was just talking about with the calculator.
Okay, so we've talked about typical beginner level strategies. Most people think all points are the same, so they don't have the right cards in their wallet. So get the right cards. Intermediate level strategies focus on earning multipliers. Find ways to buy a set of tires and pick up 25,000 points. Find ways to get your pet food instead of at the grocery store through an online portal and pick up 10,000 points. There are all sorts of ways to pick up unbelievably high amounts of points that are free nights in hotels themselves, free flights across the ocean themselves, just from singular purchases that you pick up by watching for the deals. I like to equate this to like, do you go into the grocery store and just fill your grocery list without thinking about sales? Or do you go to the grocery store, pick up the flyer and say, oh, look, ribeye is $4.99 a pound. Let's have ribeye instead of hamburger. and it ends up being cheaper than the hamburger that isn't on sale. Same thing. Now let's talk about advanced strategies. So, intermediate was thinking about earning more points per dollar spent. Now we want to flip those points and get more dollars per point redeemed. That's called redemption multipliers. If you haven't seen that training, you can find that. We have lessons in our book, just comment book, and that's in our point hedging 301 strategy section. Now we're still talking about that one purchase, spend $1,000 on a Carnival cruise, get 25,000 points. Let's have some fun and go spend those points in a different way. So instead of spending them through Amex's portal and just giving them right back to Amex, you don't want to do that. You'll never get more than a penny, penny and a half a piece. Instead, transfer them to an airline or hotel. We have specific examples in the book, and I'm going to give you specific examples that I grabbed screenshots of this morning. So instead of settling for $250, let's transfer to a hotel. In fact, let's get a hotel the night before and the night after our cruise. So we booked our cruise. Now let's take our 25,000 points that we earned from that Amex offer. And look, there's a hotel in Fort Lauderdale. That's a very popular cruise port for 12,000 points a night for a $237 hotel. That's a little expensive for that area, but that's because it's right there by the cruise port. How convenient is that? So 12,000 points times 2, that's 24,000 points. That's going to get us 2 nights valued at $237 a night. That's $474 in value. So we spent $1,000. We took the points in. We cashed them out for a hotel that would have otherwise cost us $237, and we get a 47% credit card ROI. So we spent $1,000. We put $470 back in our pocket in free hotels, and we have 1,000 points to spare. We just 20-folded what you would get with a Discover card, a cash back card, a B of A card, a Charles Schwab card, dozens of cards that are limited to 2%. How about now? Is this, a lot of people say, oh, this is very confusing. Earn 25,000 points, spend them with Hyatt hotels, get $400 in value. How complicated is that?
That's a pretty good ROI there, 47%. I'm just waiting for you to anger Warren Buffett like we talk about every couple of weeks. We actually haven't brought him up in a while.
Yep.
He needs to meet you by the bike
Berkshire
rack.
Hathaway. I accept any challenge. You take your cash back from $1,000 in spend, and let's compete with a well-timed offer from your credit card company. This will beat Berkshire Hathaway any day.
I love this comment. Katie is here. Katie's also one of our experts. Katie's presenting at our event as well, right?
Yeah, she's doing a couple presentations. Katie is our cash expert. So one of the core beliefs of the Jagut way of travel is it's not always about free flights or free hotels. Sometimes you have to have the discipline to not use your points. And as you can see, we're going to show you examples where you can use points for 10 or 20 times more value than just any old flight. So Katie helps all of our clients find those or avoid needing points by finding cash deals so good you don't even need points at all. She's also one of our accountability coaches. So when you join our paid program, Jagut Lounge, our whole goal is to personally support you implement all of these steps. You tell us your travel goals, we show you the steps to get there. And Katie's one of our accountability coaches. So we're really excited to have her at the conference.
All right. Well, you brought it up. So let's talk about the lounge real quick and just take a quick commercial break because it's at the middle of the hour. So talk about the lounge and then you can comment interested if you want more information, y'all. Let's talk about that for a second. Yeah.
So let's set that up with what you're watching right now. This is Jagut Village. The whole purpose of Jagut Village is to teach anyone how to travel a lot more often, a lot more luxuriously while spending less. And these are all DIY strategies. These are all strategies you can do yourself. And we teach that for free to 98% of our customers. About 2% of our customers say, I love this. This really works. I've tried it. I've gotten that 47% Joel is talking about. I wonder how good I could do if I paid people to personally help me. And that's our coaching program. It's not for everyone, but that's why we set it up with a personal call, and we ask you about your travel goals. We ask you about your spending habits, and we see if it's realistic for us to be able to help you or point you in the direction of where you might want to focus, if your travel goals aren't robust enough for what we teach you to do. But basically, our paid coaching program guarantees being able to book a minimum of $10,000 to $20,000 in free travel before graduating our 6-month program. And if you're interested in that, it is a paid coaching program. It is an interview to make sure it's a mutual fit. We want to make sure that you're coachable, that you're willing to get the cards we recommend, that you're willing to do the things that we recommend that you do with them. And if you do that, we guarantee that you'll be able to book 10 to 20 grand in free travel. So comment interested, and we can set up a call to talk about that.
When you mentioned ninja level skills, that's what you're getting in the lounge,
Yes.
by the way. That's at the ninja spot, sweet spot.
Yeah, we're aiming for advanced ninja level stuff before you graduate our 6-month program. So you can try it on your own for free, no problem. We've got hundreds of resources that you can apply yourself. Or you can work with our coaches one-on-one and get personal handholding so that you achieve those goals within the next 6 months. Okay, so now real quick, let's just do a sanity check. Not all hotels will be worth what I just demonstrated. And that's part of what you're learning. You have to learn to have the discipline to know that 90% of the time, it's a complete waste of points and you should not redeem them. But what you're doing is looking for those really, really good values, because that's the beauty of points. It is entirely possible to pick up $5,000 or $10,000 flights with $500 or $600 worth of points. And I'm showing you examples, I'm showing you lesser examples right now. But there are extreme examples out there right now. One of our travel coaches is on vacation right now, and she just passed 6 figures in free travels so far this year from less than 6 figures in spend on credit cards. So a lot of this is about the discipline. It's not about just getting a free hotel. It's about getting a really nice hotel for really few points. Let's talk about an airline example. So that was an intermediate/advanced hotel example. Now let's talk about airlines. Hotels are pretty good deals. Airlines are extremely good deals. So Iberia Airlines, they have coach flights. And we're just talking about coach because it gets really a lot more difficult as soon as you go into business class. There's just not as much available. If you think about it, how many seats are there in coach on a typical airline? And how many are there in business or first class? It's typically 5 to 10%. So it's typically 10 to 20 times as difficult to find business and first class. So let's look at coach first and just see how much ROI we can get. So Iberia. Iberia is a very popular airline. They fly to Spain from lots of different places all over the US, New York, Boston, LA, Chicago, Miami. Not all airports. So if you live in St. Louis, you're probably going to have to get yourself to one of those areas. But for Iberia, right now, you could go search Iberia and there are tons of flights. Look at this. All week, 17,000 points to fly one way to Europe. Now, if you toggle, when you would change search right in this little red banner there. I'm guessing you guys don't see my mouse, but that it says change search. You can toggle that off, and what you'll find is those flights are during peak season this coming summer. Those flights are $500 to $750 one way. But you can get them for 17,000 points. Not only that, but there's a 30% transfer bonus right now if you happen to have one of the credit cards we recommend, and in this case, Amex Membership Rewards. So you only need 13,000 points. Guess what? Coincidentally, that's almost exactly how many points you just earned from that free cruise. So $1,000 spent on a free cruise, instead of cash back and getting $20, you get 25,000 points. Don't cash them out. Redeem them for this flight to Europe, and that's 26,000 points. So you almost have enough to get yourself round trip in coach to Europe. That's a 600 or a $500 to $750 one-way flight. So that's $1,000 to $1,500 value. So we're not even to ninja level skills. And this example is how you can spend $1,000 on a cruise that you're going to take anyway and get $1,000 to $1,500 worth of flight. Just find the flight, take the points from it, the 25,000 points that you got from Amex, combine them with $1,000 or 1,000 points that you got elsewhere, transfer 26,000 points to Iberia. You just got yourself a round trip flight from money that you would be spending anyway on your credit card.
Jill, I popped this in here, and I know a couple of our experts, because they're so good, have already addressed it. But this leads us to, you mentioned it quickly. You didn't say the word, but positioning.
Yep.
So put this person's fears to rest about that, because
Sure.
positioning is a huge part of this too.
We've got lots of people from St. Louis. One of our accountability coaches is from St. Louis. She will also be at our conference in a few weeks. And yeah, I like to say, you're either going to you're going to pay in cost of living, or you're going to pay in commuting. If your passion is travel, you're going to pay the price in cost of living or in commuting. So what you save in cost of living by living in, not the top 50 airports in the US, what you save in cost of living, you're probably going to have to spend to get yourself to bigger international airports. Let's face it, not too many direct flights from St. Louis or Omaha or Sacramento or whatever. But simple positioning strategies will get you a lot farther. So, maybe start looking at those positioning airports. Start looking at flights to Europe from Chicago, Atlanta, New York, Boston, Miami, etc. If you like Asia and you're not in a major international airport on the West Coast, start looking at flights from the West Coast. Get yourself there for a couple $100, and you can land yourself in way better flights for way less money. And that's one of those things, like it's very common to say, oh, I can't do this because of insert objection here. But there is a workaround for every objection there is. Trust me, I was ninja level travels when I was dead broke, going through a divorce. Neither my ex-wife nor I won. The lawyers are the ones that won. They got all the money. Both of us were dead broke. So there's always a way. You just have to be able to think creatively to be able to do it. And so now that brings us into advanced examples. If you want to fly in business or first class, if you want to stay in $1,000 a night hotels that cost you $100 worth of points, you got to get creative. You might not be able to go on the exact dates you want, but guess what? You can just go to Aruba instead of Cabo. Sometimes you can go to Bali for less than what most people pay to go to Cabo. So be flexible on where you go if you're not flexible on dates. This is great for teachers, people with kids in school, people with very strict schedules. Everyone has mandatory vacation time. Be flexible on where you go. Be flexible by getting yourself to the West Coast for Asia or Australia. Be flexible by getting yourself to the East Coast for Europe or Iceland. And so many more opportunities open up for you. And this is almost a mandatory thing if taking that 10-hour flight in a seat that turns into a bed is important to you. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a direct flight out of your home airport, but I'm in a pretty major airport myself, and I usually plan on getting myself to LA. I'll maybe fly in the night before, use points for a free stay, and then take the long haul flight elsewhere.
Mary commented too, even from Denver, I use positioning flights at times. So also sometimes have
Denver
more
too.
available flights, right? Exactly. Carrie, I love this comment. Born and raised in Vegas, dad is Vietnamese, flying from LAX to Saigon, leaves $500, $700 per ticket just by not flying from LAS. So we book a ticket separate or drive to LAX.
Yeah.
I love that. Clever.
So the more flexible you are, the less points you need, the less cash you have to pay, etc.
That's
Plain
good
and simple.
examples of that. Yes.
So let's talk about some advanced examples. Same thing, Iberia. Notice that I changed the dates, and I intentionally removed the dates because there was literally one flight in the about 45 dates I checked. There was one flight in business class, and this will be gone by tonight, especially since I just did a webinar that thousands of people will see. So I left the dates out, not because I don't want to share this information, but because I don't want this video to become dated tomorrow. But these flights are out there, and as long as you accept the fact that, well, they're 10% as available as coach or economy, you just have to look harder. That's it. You just have you have to have the patience to look harder, to be willing to position to different airports, to be flexible on dates, to be flexible on where you're willing to go. Maybe you were thinking of going to Rome, but fly yourself to Madrid for 30,000 points and do it in comfort, and you'll spend less than what most people will pay to fly themselves to Rome in coach. Less points, less cash, everything. So let's break this flight down, because remember, it's Iberia, and right now, at the point of this recording, you don't need 34,000 points. Amex has a 30% transfer bonus, so you only need just over 26,000 points. So the one-way value, if you go and look up flights from the East Coast to Madrid during peak season, those are $1,800 to $2,500 flights one way in business class, if not first. So if we take that 25,000 points we earned and apply that towards this flight. Now, remember, that's one way. You'll have to get yourself back. Maybe that's in coach. Maybe that's with points if you have enough. But just that 25,000 points is roughly $1,800 to $2,500 in value, just from knowing what you're doing and being willing to be creative and flexible on how you spend those points. So there we have it. I kind of demonstrated, when I talked about this webinar, I said, do you want to keep using your cashback card that will get you $20, no more, no less, for every $1,000 that you spend? Or do you want to start earning points, flexible points, Amex membership rewards points and Chase Ultimate Rewards points that can get literally 10 to 100 times that in free flights and hotels? Literally 10 to 100 times. These are actual screenshots. Someone's going to be able to go and get those flights today. All you got to do is have the right cards that earn the right points and know how to spend them.
And if somebody does, will you comment in the village and tell us that you do? We love hearing the victory stories, right?
And again, so your cheat sheet, like this is where the science comes in. Like Iberia, you got to know their home airports. So they fly out of Miami, they fly out of they don't fly out of Atlanta. They fly out of New York, Chicago, Boston, LA, San Francisco, and a few others. I don't have them memorized, but I know at least those ones. Play around. Look at different departure dates when you're thinking of going. Look at different positioning airports. Sometimes look at different positioning airports on the other side. Those deals are out there every day. You just got to know how to find them. And remember, this is just one purchase. A lot of our members who are attending the conference were kind of struggling with this. How do I calculate my ROI? This is one purchase, and obviously an extreme example. You can't get 25,000 points every time you spend $1,000. But if you take that and average that out through all of your spend, most times you only get 1 or 1.5 points. Sometimes you get 5 or 10 points. At least every other month, if you get 10,000 points for $100 in spend, 25,000 points for $1,000 in spend. Those are free vacations just right there. You just gotta, just like you pick up that flyer and pay a little extra attention at the grocery store. You look at Chase offers. You pay a little attention when you order flowers for Mother's Day. Pay a little attention when you order flowers for someone's birthday. Pay a little attention when your tires are running low. Don't just wait until you get a blown tire to get 1,000 points per $1,000 spent. Time it. Get yourself 10 to 25 to 50 times as many points. If you do that more often, you raise your earning multipliers. If you're wise when you redeem, you raise your earning multipliers. Earn an average of 5 cents per dollar spent, or 5 points per dollar spent, and redeem those for an average of 5 cents per dollar. You're putting a quarter of every dollar that you spend back in your pocket in a free travel slush fund. Plain and simple. 5 points per dollar spent, 5 cents per dollar per point redeemed, 25 cents back in your pocket. It's just math.
That should be a hashtag. It's just math.
So again, this is like going to be our primary focus. If you're currently a beginner, if you're currently only earning 0 to 5%, if you attend our weekend conference, our goal is to get you to change that. It might be that you have the wrong cards in your wallet. It might be that you don't know how to earn more points with those cards. A lot of people have the right card. They don't know how to earn, an average of 5 or 10 times more points. So we're going to teach you that, which will get you to the intermediate level. And that's going to get you to 5 to 15% of every dollar spent back in your pocket. Plain and simple. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to teach you about those earning multipliers, those advanced earning multipliers. So you're putting a lot more points in your pocket every time you use the card. If you're at the intermediate level, our goal for our weekend conference is to get you to the advanced level. That's going to put 15 to 50% of every dollar you spend back in your pocket. The way we do that, that's where we start to get really knowledgeable with how do we redeem those points. Being really disciplined about when we don't redeem those points. You might be eyeing a free business class flight to Europe that is 150,000 points. That's not a lot of points when you know how to earn a lot more points. But if you can find that flight for $1,200, pay the cash, keep the points in your pocket, save them for way bigger redemptions like the Iberia one I just showed you, and fly 5 people to Europe in business class. So a lot of times, becoming advanced is just as much about having the discipline not to waste your extremely valuable points as it is about finding those good deals. And then ninja level, this is like where it all comes together. You've got to be good at positioning flights. You've got to be willing to be flexible on dates. If you want to fly in a private apartment, like a private 6x8 apartment with a bed in it and a separate recliner and a 40-inch TV and catered dinners and lunches that cost 10 or 20 grand one way, you can't just say, I want to fly direct from Denver to Singapore. That flight doesn't exist. You've got to get yourself to LAX. You've got to get yourself to San Francisco. So these are all ninja level skills that we teach. If you're a beginner, could we get you there in a weekend from beginner to advanced? Absolutely not. Is it realistic to get you from beginner to intermediate? Piece of cake. Is it easy to get you from advanced to ninja level? Piece of cake. So do that yourself. Read our book. Keep applying the strategies. That's the DIY route. That's how you can do this for free, applying JGOOT strategies without ever depending on sign-up bonuses. Never have to pay us any more than $7 for the book. If you want a little bit more personal help that's very structured and guided, attend our weekend boot camp, and we'll get you from one level to the next in a weekend. And of course, if you like our philosophies, if you like what all of the testimonials that you see from our clients, consider our 6-month program. That's where we take anyone who follows our rules from beginner to advanced or ninja level. Ninja level is purely optional. This is kind of like the extreme couponing of grocery shopping. Just because you could, you could spend every Sunday clipping coupons from multiple newspapers and researching 3 different stores and go to all 3 stores so that you can fill your grocery cart full of groceries for like 27 cents doesn't mean you have to be that hardcore. You could just clip some coupons, make your shopping list around those coupons, and be advanced and be perfectly fine. In fact, I used to be ninja level when I was broke, when I wasn't earning a lot of money post divorce and supporting 2 households. I was broke. I was ninja level. I learned to stretch my dollars as far as possible, and I traveled. I got more free travels than what I spent on credit cards. Now I'm only intermediate level, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Why? Because I own a business that spends a boatload of money on credit cards, and I'm perfectly happy with my $50,000 to $80,000 in free travel per year. So all of this is, you can choose how geeky you want to get with it. And that's a personal choice that only you can make, and we can help you facilitate that.
Any of you non-vegans out there craving ribeye right now with all this grocery shopping you were talking about?
Yeah, sorry for not being inclusive of the vegans and vegetarians with my ribeye example.
Boy, I am hungry. Tell you what.
Beets and carrots are also on sale.
Exactly. Organic. Michael, thanks for this comment. Use my credit card for everyday expenses rather than my debit card. Boy, is that the first step. Thank you. So you get into the mindset of earning points everywhere you can. They'll start to add up. Preach that. No kidding.
Yes.
All right. So
there you have it.
Yeah,
Get the
I love
book.
it.
I mean, please just get the book. There's nothing. What we have to sell you is the Jagoot way of travel. And if that works for you just from buying the book, great. That's the goal of the book. Help you get, to the next level, whatever that level is for you. If you want a little more personal help, attend our conference. Details by just commenting event, or go to jagoot.com and or get our personal help. If you like what's in the book, our personal help will help you master those steps. And mastering those steps is really where the value is. It's not about spending more money. It's about being wise about where you spend your money. And that's all we got.
I love it. Let's do a couple questions. So is there going to be another weekend boot camp in the coming months? Well, they're asking about it already. So, and just to give you the dates again, it's August 5th through 6th, and that is a Saturday and Sunday. Hotels are really booking up pretty quickly here in Denver. So please jump on this if you think it's of interest for you. And also is the boot camp virtual or in person? So those are 2 questions for you.
Okay, so 2 things. We maybe if you pop those up, because I'm terrible at remembering details of the questions. But
one is are we going to do one later if somebody can't make it this weekend?
Yeah. So right now, this is the only one. I'll be honest. This is our first conference. We've got about 350 people registered for it, and we've got speakers who are excited for the topics that we're sharing. The real goal of this is to get all people in the same room, get beginners learning from intermediate people, get intermediate people learning from advanced people, get our ninja level people teaching the advanced people. So everyone's kind of endorsing the it takes a village philosophy, and everyone's helping each other out. So we don't have any other ones planned. We're going to see how this one goes. If we do, it will probably be annually. The other quarters, we typically focus on meetups for our members. Those are a little more casual, where our members just enjoy getting together. So no promises past this one. We are checking it out. As far as, if that works, maybe a year down the road, and no promises on when or where.
Virtual was another question.
Virtual, I have hired videographers. We are recording this. You will be able to purchase, the session, assuming it works well and was beneficial, which we feel very confident in. That will be for sale later. Don't have to buy plane tickets. Don't have to get yourself a room. The downside is you don't get that community aspect. And I'm a big believer in community, if you can't tell by our company name. I've learned from countless peers, not just mentors I've hired, but peers who, have similar philosophies as I do. So yeah, that's what we really encourage attending the event for. We're going to have breakout sessions where, you'll be able to talk with other solo travelers, other family travelers, other luxury travelers. We'll even have a Disney table for people who love Disney. So if you can make it, I strongly suggest it. We are closing the doors. It's the max attendance is not quite 400. So it'll be about the next 30 attendees who register that will be able to come. If not, we will have a virtual, but it doesn't have those same benefits of an in-person conference.
This is what's on our website right now. So if you'll comment event, we'll send this link to you as well. But as Joel was just mentioning, breakout sessions, sessions with avid travelers. We're going to talk about diving into points, travel, and cash. And real quick, Brooke from above, I love when she slides me little comments in my DMs over here to also say that for lounge members, we do have meetups quarterly for those of you who have joined the lounge. And those are just like fun little versions of this as well when a lot of us get together at different points around the states, probably going to go international at some point, and get together and have really great conversations such as this.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
Yeah. All right, we had a couple comments here at the end, and then we'll do our giveaway. Our giveaway is for a $100 travel savings card. We do that every week. Talk about the travel savings card real quick, Joel. You gonna show it? Oh, there it is.
There we go. $100 travel savings card. It's a savings card, not a gift card. It's good for 10 to 60% savings. So you can save $100 off of $1,000 purchase. As much as $1,000 purchase or as little as about a $400 purchase. No less than that, but as little as a couple $100, it'll knock $100 off. And it's good at millions of hotels worldwide. It's good at for excursions and activities. It's good for car rentals. It's pretty much a search engine just like similar price, the exact same prices as Travelocity, Expedia. You just get to apply savings beyond what you would pay on Travelocity or Expedia.
Excellent. All right. So today was a record day of attendees. That was pretty exciting. Over 300. I know. I was taking little screenshots when you weren't looking because I get excited. And then we had over 478 comments.
Ooh, cool.
A lot of chatting. Somebody also mentioned if they could download or see the comments afterwards. You do have to come over to the Facebook group to see that. So if you're watching on YouTube, come on over here. But that is where there's a lot of fun, little juicy, meaty comments from our experts as well, too. So I don't know about downloading it, but you can definitely see all the comments once we're done and you can watch the screenshot. So, okay, ready? Let's go for a random number. 125.
All right.
I bet I'm going to be hired for sound effects, just so you know. Pretty excited about that. Somebody commented last week. They like my random number generator sound. A couple real quick comments. I love this. Yeah. Got a boatload of points from my June trip to London. So now I have a nice 55K bank. I'm not sure who that is, but we're proud of you. Right?
It just never ends. I mean, our family trip to Italy, of course, we did a lot of excursions. When you don't spend the money on flights, when you get $20,000 worth of flights for $500, you can spend money elsewhere. So we blew a couple grand on excursions in Italy, and that paid for one of our business class flights. The points we earned from just that paid for one of our business class flights to Greece last year. So yeah, I love.
Janet, thank you. I'm still pretty bad, still learning in the lounge, obviously one of our lounge members, but even so, my CCROI was nearly 14%. I know, that's wonderful. Thank you. Learning great tips in the lounge, but still only beginner level. That's okay. What is it? I know Mira, that's you mentioned earlier. Well, I kind of feel like it's a she who will not be named, but we know who it is. It's Stana Mira that's doing all that travel. But she goes back and reviews a lot of the programs as well too. So keep going.
I think the most important thing is acknowledging that.
Yes.
We take people who spend $50,000, $60,000 a year and show them how to get more free travel than someone spending $1 million a year who thinks they know it all. They don't know it all. They just happen to have the good fortune of spending power. So they earn a lot of points. And we can literally show teachers, self-employed people, accountants, contractors, etc., like real people not spending millions or even hundreds of thousands, how to earn more free travel than people spending 10 times as much as them. You just got to acknowledge where you are. And that's where that CCROI calculator comes in. Be realistic, give a good, honest assessment of how much do you spend per year and how much free stuff do you get back. Sometimes it might take a little work to go, okay, Italy, that was a $24,000, 4 times $6,000 flights, that's 24 grand. Greece, 2 times $5,000 flights. Okay, now nights, and you got to add it up. But it's well worth it because then you get to know, like, how good are you really at this? And as soon as you know that, that's where you know where you need to focus to go next.
And I love this comment. This addresses a lot of things. One, objections. I'm a teacher, don't have, they are flexible for the summer. We went flexible about traveling in the summer. So instead of going to Europe this summer, we went to Tahiti for $1,000 for 2. Yeah. Jay Goot, thanks for your tips. I'm not sure who that is, but we're proud of you too. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that is great.
I love it. So comment book, if you're interested in the book. Kathy, thank you. I've done the curriculum. I just finished the book, so worth reading and reviewing. Comment event for our event on August 5th and 6th, and then comment interested if you'd like to learn more about the lounge. That's it. That was good. Woof.
Fun stuff.
We had a lot to say. All right. We'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy travels.